Hi everybody, welcome to this week's sewing video tutorial. It's almost spooky season, so today we're sewing this candy cornucopia table mat. The pattern and instructions are free and the link is down below. So let's get started. Okay, I've cut most of my fabrics according to the instructions. I'm using double-sided fusible fleece for this project. I do have some fabric kits available in the shop, and the fabrics might be just slightly different than what I'm using here, but they're all very similar and have the spooky vibe. And the kits all contain the fusible fleece. It's super easy to work with, and I just place my main fabric on top of it and I easily cut around it. Okay, I've set my fabric aside and now I'm tracing the pieces of this pattern onto my Steam-A-Seam light. And I'm tracing on the yellow grid side of the fusible web. And again, I have these fabric kits in the shop and they all come with the required amount of fusible web and the fusible fleece. Okay, and trace each little portion of the candy corn because they're all different color fabrics, and you want to trace a little bit outside the line, especially where the fabrics are going to overlap, just so that they have that space for overlapping. After all of your pieces are traced, you can rough cut around each of the sections because we need to apply this to the wrong side of the fabrics. And I actually have this rotary cutter that I use for cutting around my Steam-A-Seam, and it just makes it really easy. Just leave a little space around so that we have something to work with when we apply it to the back side of the fabrics. And the thing with Steam-A-Seam is that you can press it onto the back of the fabric, and then sometimes it already leaves the sticky part on the fabric. That doesn't always happen. So if it doesn't happen, you just take it to the iron, you give it a quick press, and then the sticky side will be on the fabric. Cut around all your pieces carefully with your small sharp scissors. And then peel the paper backing off of each of your shapes, and then you can place it onto your main fabric, which by the way has already been fused to the double-sided fusible. It just requires a light pressing with a very hot iron, no steam, and you'll see that the fabric sticks right onto the top of the fusible. And it can also be peeled off, so if there was a wrinkle or something happened, you can actually peel that fabric off of the fusible and then refuse it. But right now what I'm doing is I'm just putting my applique pieces onto my fabric, and they are sticking on there. They need to be adhered with that hot iron. I can keep picking them up and moving them around as many times as I like, but once I press this all down with my hot iron, these will be fused to the fabric. And then with this small candy corn, you want to overlap the pieces, and generally the dark middle piece will overlap onto the lighter pieces, the bottom yellow and the top white. And then if they don't match up perfectly, just pick them up carefully and you can reshape them a little bit with your small scissors as needed. All right, I have to tell you that my son came by while I was filming, and he didn't like the orange kind of foaming thing coming out the top. So I cut a different one. I cut a green one, which I had used this fabric before. And let's see, do we like it better? I think I might stick with the green, and I can just bring back my Steam-A-Seam paper and I can just apply, I could just put my sticky piece back on there and save it for another project. But which one do you like better? All right, I have my shapes on and I've actually pressed them down with the hot iron so you can see they don't come off anymore. I'm going to add some hand embroidery around here before I take it to the machine. And I'm not going to show that on the video this time because I'll just link to some other videos in the instructions, and you'll see I do around the eye, and it ends up looking pretty cute. But you could just do machine around all the shapes also. And here's a little preview of how the eye looks with the hand sewing. I think it adds a little dimension. It's pretty cute. Okay, here I am at my sewing machine, and I'm ready for some free motion quilting. So I've covered this in a couple videos. If you're not ready to tackle free motion quilting, put your walking foot on and you can go outline the shapes, just lifting your foot, turning the fabric underneath, and just going around that way. It'll take a little bit longer, but it's still completely doable. I'm going to keep on working with my free motion quilting because I want to get better at it. And so I just brought my tail thread up, my bobbin thread up from behind, and now I'm starting. I'm going to let you see in real time how slow I actually go. And I still make mistakes. It's not perfect, but I think it's not meant to be perfect, really, and it still looks really cute. Now I've sped up the video again, and I'll just continue going around all the shapes with my free motion quilting. The candy corn, I outline every single shape, but I don't change my thread. I think I have like a light orange on here, and I'm just going to use that throughout the whole project. I'm just squaring up my fabric now, trimming off those little bits of fusible and making sure that my project looks nice and square. And then I center my front fabric with the fusible along with the backing fabric and get ready for a little bit more free motion quilting. So I'm back at the machine, and again I bring my bobbin thread up to the top, and for this I'm just going to be stippling around all the shapes. So stippling is just creating those loopy-loos, the lines don't cross over each other, and it looks like little puzzle pieces, and I'm just going around, and I'll actually do that around the shapes. Take your time, go slowly, and don't worry, have fun. And then for self-binding, I just fold over the top edge to meet the fusible and then give it a press and do that all the way around. All right, so now I just fold over again and that edge will come over the top of the main fabric, and then I'll just flip it and put some clips in it all the way around, and then when we get to the corner we just fold it carefully, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, so when you get to the corner you just fold perpendicular and then turn that iron section in on itself, and you have to fiddle with it a little bit to get that mitered corner, but you'll see how it goes. So, and then continue down, clipping, folding, and turning until you get to the next corner. And here it is again. Take your folded edge, fold it in towards the main fabric, fold again on the crease line, and then fiddle with it just to get that perfect mitered corner, and then clip it in place. And then at the machine, we're going to start right at the very edge, just 1/8 of an inch in from that fold, all the way around, just to hold that binding in place. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this spooky little project. There's more coming up for the Halloween season. And remember that there are fabric kits for sale in the shop. And if you haven't already, please remember to like and subscribe. See you next week.